Bonjour les organisateurs de Speedon, moi c'est Nathan et aujourd'hui je vous propose ma candidature pour faire une speedrun de Journey. Donc alors, il y a 2 ans vous aviez déjà eu Azama qui a fait une run any% avec la robe blanche. Mais moi la différence c'est que j'ai envie de faire une speedrun avec la robe rouge cette année. Donc il y a jamais eu un seul marathon avec une speedrun glitched et avec la robe rouge en fait. Donc ce serait une première, voilà, une petite exclusivité française. Et donc, le truc, c'est qu'en fait, ça change complètement le gameplay, hein, clairement. Parce que, au lieu d'avoir une écharpe qui se recharge en touchant le sol, on a des sauts très limités, donc le gameplay sera beaucoup plus aérien, mais aussi beaucoup plus compliqué. C'est peut-être pour ça d'ailleurs qu'il n'y a pas encore eu de run. Et donc, moi, bah, voilà, je vous propose ça, et voilà, j'espère vraiment qu'on pourra faire cette run ensemble. Donc, moi, j'ai déjà présenté une run en blanc pour les IGDQ 2022 et j'ai refait une vidéo pour 2023 pour proposer donc cette même catégorie que je vous propose aujourd'hui. Bon, ils l'ont pas pris, mais comme la vidéo est déjà faite en anglais et qu'elle décrit assez bien toute la run, je vous la remets aujourd'hui et voilà. Donc bon visionnage.
Anyway, let's go to main title to start the run and talk some more about the game. So this game, if you're not familiar with it, it was created by that game company in 2012 on PS3, and many players loved it, like because it has this gorgeous visuals, and the music by Austin Wintory is always on point, and it fits really well the beautiful scenery of the game, like. Yeah, it's very pretty and everything. And on top of it, you got a unique multiplayer aspect, because you can connect with any player so long as they are pretty close to you in game. And that's a core mechanic of gameplay for Journey, because it is what makes every journey unique. You never meet the same companion, because every human is different, and that's the true beauty behind this game, really. And it's what created so many Journey addicts like me. But to be honest, there is another reason why I am addicted to Journey, and it's called fancy flying. So it's something that developers used to call swooping, and I have learned this on Twitter with Matt Nava, the artistic director of the game, who actually shared a few words about this swooping thing a while ago. So it basically goes like this. When you aim the camera down, it's something for advanced players, you know. So when you aim the camera down like this, you can get into a dive. And when I'm diving, like now, I am charging some energy. And when I will lift my camera up, so now I get a boost. And here with my boost, I aim precisely at this corner of the wind wall. And this allows me to go into out of bounds. And to skip the level ending trigger. Oh, there I hit an invisible wall. I was trying to get under. And there is a trigger to next level. And that's the main strat we will use in most levels. Going OOB to skip the level ending trigger. Not having to watch the cutscene, I mean, sorry. And so about the flying aspect of the game, you see I have a scarf. And the scarf represents my ability to jump in the game. The longer it is, the better, and the happier I get, because it also means better flying abilities. So there I will actually start a new dive. So to start charging energy, I use a very light pressure on my left stick there, the movement stick. This is in order to dive slowly and charge more energy, because the longer you dive, the more powerful the boost gain gets. And if you can not lose any altitude at all during the dive, then you will boost even higher up, like I did there, because I was doing what we call a drop shoot, which is basically running on the ground itself by holding the jump button down. And I was able to do this because I took a symbol which gave me free jumps for a few seconds. So there, I do charge a very big boost to go OOB. It's very hard. Oh, there we go. So it's a little hole in a rock, and if you charge a lot of energy, I was diving slowly for it to prepare for the boost. Well, you lift the camera up and you can just barely enter OB. So I wasted one jump to help with the transition into out of bounds, because otherwise it gets really risky, but with a jump it's much better. And this is a marathon safe thing I would do. Like, for regular run I wouldn't jump, but you gotta do some adjustments to make sure to do the glitches. Alright, so this next level is a big desert, and in a white robe we would just run across it, because the white robe actually recharges its scarf by simply touching the ground, so you can jump as long as you want. But in a red robe we cannot do that at all, because unless we take a symbol and we can run for a few seconds, otherwise it's very limited and we'll be spending all of our time in the air instead. So this is an aerial ballet. And there I recharged a bit with the banner there. And now what I'm doing is a flying technique we call infinite boost. So this is an extremely precise flying technique. And I know only between 10 to 15 players in the world who can do this flying technique at all. Half of them being speedrunners, by the way. So that is how hard it is. So the main idea is you get into a dive, and you use extremely light pressure with your left stick, the movement stick, in order to dive as slowly as you possibly can to gain the most energy possible without losing altitude too fast. And at the same time, you adjust the right stick pressure, so the camera, because you need to push the camera down to start diving. And as soon as we dive, we flatten it a bit. And this is because when the camera is flat, you lose altitude more slowly during the dive. And we cannot keep it flat, like here. I will slowly emit more and more to the ground, and I do this all the time when I'm doing fancy flying. And the reason behind is when the camera is flat, you will quickly reach a maximum boost energy. And in order to keep on charging some more boost, you need to adjust the camera more down. So having it flat is good for speed and in order to lose altitude even more slowly. But eventually you will quickly reach a max boost. So you see, it can get quite complex, the flying aspect, but when you understand the whole gameplay mechanic aspect of it, you can chain all those flying techniques together, and it's a huge amount of fun, and it's what I really love about this game. Like, this flying mechanic, it's awesome, really, and I'm not the only one to really enjoy it this much. And especially in the red robe, because you got a huge variation of flying techniques. We've already seen like at least 4 different ones so far. And yeah, there are many more to come. So, just looking at my notes there, seeing if I have anything useful to say. We are in a cutscene, by the way. This is where the ancestor tell you about the story of the past. It's open to interpretation, but yeah, it's when you can figure out the lore of the game a bit. And it's also when you can read donations, if I have nothing else to say. Okay, so now I'm headed to next level. I had to watch this cutscene, by the way, because we cannot skip it. Unlike in most other levels, here the trigger to next level doesn't exist until you watch the cutscene. Even if I were able to go OOB, it wouldn't serve any purpose. This next level is a sliding level. So as long as you remain in bounds, you will be sliding in most of the level. So sliding is pretty fast, so it's fine. But we will instead try to go OOB as early as we can to reach the end more quickly, like in most other levels, basically. So it's coming there. It's a pretty hard OOB entrance. If I were to fail it, I would just continue inbounds and waste like a minute and a half or retry the level, I don't know. And then jump, whoosh. And so I pressed jump very precisely when hitting the corner of a wind wall, and that's what allowed me to slide into OOB. So I have a longer scarf than this, but I am keeping it because okay, I'm sliding pretty slowly there, but I will slide faster later. I am keeping my scarf for the next level. So, okay, so here I can start a dive because I'm out of bounds. I'm out of the box surrounding the sliding sections that forces you to slide, so I can do fancy flying, but I will keep it reasonable because sliding is still pretty fast, as you can see. So admire the beauty of the game, maybe. Wow, it's really a gorgeous level. Probably the most visited level in out of bounds areas, when you play the game casually, companion take you to visit this level very often if you're lucky enough to meet an experienced player, because it has so many gorgeous sights in Out of Bounds. Like basically just left of where I am here, there is like an old city you can visit. It's really pretty. And yeah, many things to discover in Out of Bounds. I think it's the only game I know of where Out of Bounds areas are as pretty as in Bounds. And that's amazing, because the game in Bounds is already very beautiful. And with many things to do, glitches to set up, like the lore of this game is so rich when you start interesting yourself some more like beyond standard gameplay. So there I hit the next level trigger from behind like usual, skipping history lesson. And there I have a limited amount of scarf energy, but I will use it to start some infinite boosts. So my first type will be actually a flap boost. It's a variation where I am using a very light pressure on the left stick. Like, oops, and there boost. That was a flap boost, and now some infinite boost. The difference isn't that huge in terms of execution, but let's just say it's a lighter pressure. And there I am trying to dive with the carpet, and I failed it. It's fine. I will just recharge using these flyers when they become chirpable. Thank you, flyers. Alright, let's keep on going. So now I can do a drop shoot. I would have gained 5 seconds if I had managed to drop shoot alongside the carpet. So here I'm stabilizing with the flyers. So when you drop at flyers, you see they make me hover in the air when I glow. And this is pretty cool because it means I am not losing any altitude as long as I keep on chirping them. And because of it, I can easily charge a really powerful boost by just diving for a long time like this without losing my height. So there I took a symbol. So I got a huge boost still, like I didn't use all my boost there, so I will be able to go very high in here to start infinite boosting safely now. So under me is where you'd have a, like the war machine wakes up and it's a jump scare, but we won't have it today because I am too quick to save your ears. Alright. And here you can chirp some more flyers to recharge. You see they make me hover, I don't need to jump. And now I need to jump again because they stopped making me hover. And I can catch this next symbol in there. Oopsie. Alright, there we go. It's fine. Okay, and I'm keeping a full scarf to get ready for the next level. It's important to not use it all. So these are the bad guys in the game. You find them in a few levels from here onwards. And but we barely see them when speedrunning because well, we go faster than them than they can wake up. So here another history lesson we cannot skip because trigger doesn't exist for the next level until you watch the cutscene. Sadly, I don't know why that is. By the way, I'm gonna drink a bit. Oops. Managing your scarf energy is really the core of a Red Robe speedrun. When you play all symbols, it is actually a bit safer, because with a longer scarf comes greater responsibilities. With a longer scarf, it's more safe, because even if you fail, you have still some scarf power left, like to start a new dive or something, while in 90% it's very easy to start hitting the ground without any juice in your scarf, and you would have to just walk. And yeah, but regardless, with enough practice, like you can manage both categories pretty well. Like it's really a matter of preference. I like both, so I don't mind which one would be chosen if you do choose one, that is. But yeah, there are awesome categories. So here I could jump towards the next level, but I will walk for the safety of the marathon run, because this one more jump I will keep will make the start of next level much more easy. And I do not want to put the marathon at peril. I have backup strats for all the kind of fails I can do, So it can waste between 30 seconds to a minute sometimes if I fail a big one, but it's alright. I will make the estimation accordingly to the whatever issue can occur. Alright, so here I'll start the drop shoot. This tower level is very vertical, so it's all about climbing it. Whoop, little boost, and there I can collect my, whoops, bad camera angle there. I didn't manage this nicely. Alright, so, and whoop, I'm boosting towards the camera to get some second symbol. So I'm basically climbing the whole level using these symbols, which are conveniently placed at different height in the level. It's like the developers thought about me speedrunning the game, and they said, whoa, it could be a good idea to help the Red Robe speedrunners, and thank God they did, because otherwise we'd have the route wouldn't look like this. Anyway, so now I am boosting toward this whale room. We call it like this because there is a giant whale up there chilling. And did I catch? Yes, I caught the symbol. So there I am running towards the camera. It's called the reverse drop shoot, and the reason behind it is because the steeper the camera is, the more energy you can charge for your boost. And whoop, okay, let's boost. I will talk later. Alright, that worked. And there I'm going to the next level there. Okay, so what I did there, running... Oh, okay, touch the next trigger. Oh, it's there. By running backwards, I ensure having a steady camera angle and to get a really powerful boost if I run for long enough. And I was actually touching the banners while running backwards to recharge my scarf and enter in this level with a full scarf, which is pretty tricky to do, but it's something you can learn if you practice it a bit. And I pressed screensaver to make the camera leave the current viewpoint, and it had disabled the collisions of the whale room. Alright. Wow. That was very dodgy. Normally I was supposed to run on the ground, but I messed it up and I ended up doing it in the air instead, but it worked out. So you see, you can make up for the tiny mistakes in this game. Okay, this was a dry boost point. It's a place where you can charge energy by just hovering in the air. There are very few in the game, and we use them in Red Robe because they are so handy. Okay, so here I'll be boosting towards the heater room, which is just in there. Oop. So I will get warmed up again, and I will call some flyers actually to recharge my scarf, and get ready to do a big drop shoot. There we go. Flicking my whenever I do a drop shoot, I am flicking the camera left and right to keep the camera angle, because unlike in RDS when we get a steady camera angle, during a drop shoot that's not the case, and the only thing the camera wants to do is flatten. And by flicking the camera stick we can make sure it remains fully down to charge a big boost, but that's why drop shoot can be a bit tricky. Anyway, so there I am infinite boosting towards the end of the level. So I am trying to do the best infinite boost I can by using the lightest pressure I can on the left stick to dive very slowly and ensure getting a very powerful boost. And there we go. We'll see how well it goes. Oh no! Alright, I was too close to the... Oh, okay, I was too much left. It's okay, I wouldn't have landed that much higher up had I not hit the snow too early. But yeah, it was a pretty great snow otherwise. On PC, you see at the start, in this level normally you get frozen and you walk very slowly, you cannot really fancy fly anymore. And by getting back in the entrance gate, that's where I managed to get unfrozen, do fancy flying, I go out of bounds at the very start before touching the freezing trigger. But if I had emptied my scarf there, I wouldn't have been able to even go out of bounds. But on PC we got a fail-safe mechanic there. Basically by going main menu and pressing continue, we can exit and re-enter the level with our full scarf. And that's something that doesn't exist on all other platforms. There I hit the next level trigger, by the way. I just gotta wait a minute until I freeze to death. But yeah, so for the marathon, this is what I would do. If I were to fail the start, I would have a backup plan there by just restarting the level, which we cannot do normally. It wouldn't be accepted for a speedrun event, a submission on speedrun.com, but for the marathon, yeah. But I don't plan on failing it anyway, so I won't, alright? Anyway, just to say, the run is very, very safe thanks to this feature in case something goes really wrong. Alright. This level is probably the hardest in Red Robe speedruns, because the slightest mistake can cost you a lot of height, and which means walking on foot for hours. No, not hours, but you get it. Climbing is very slow when you don't have scarf power, which is why the infinite boost has to be made as perfectly as you can. And you know, when you infinite boost, actually, the more the camera aims down, the more you gotta adjust as well the pressure on the movement stick, because you gotta move a little more forward with the left stick as you keep on aiming the camera more down. So it's really something you gotta feel. It takes many hours of practice before getting good at it, but you need to have a feeling for it to really understand, and it's little by little you learn to do it well. It's not the kind of technique you just learn in a day like that. But it's really worth it because it's so much fun. You can infinite boost for hours, endlessly gain height, and end up like crazy high in a level. And that's really beautiful. There are fancy flying techniques for all skill levels, so if you would think you would be interested but you are maybe afraid about what I'm showing off there, it's fine because there are very easy techniques too on the wiki of the game, with tutorial videos featured, and yeah, for all skills levels, and you can have fun already. Everyone can learn a few techniques, and it helps them exploring out of bounds areas, for example. It's a lot of fun, or having fun with companions. Anyway, there is a last level we call Paradise. So I have ascended. Am I dead, or is this an afterlife something, or did I get resurrected? That's up to you. It's open to interpretation. And there I am doing what we call slow boost, so just a dive using a slow pressure to dive slowly, and also chirping at the flyers to recharge my scarf as the dive goes. So this level is speedrun exactly the same way in a white robe, because you got a really long scarf, so it works the same. And we don't touch the ground at all. So recharging with these flyers again to get a really powerful boost and reach the mountain. So now I'm getting ready for the last glitch of the run. We call it the ski. So there I recharge with the waterfall, and I will. So it's a sort of wave we do in the air to reach the end, sliding instead of walking. So let's try it. And time. Wow, that was actually a very, very decent run. Sub 22. Bog. I messed up my split there. I split manually and I forgot. We have an auto splitter now, and I'm just getting used to it. So I did a double split mistake. So yeah, it was a pretty great run, and I'm proud it worked. So for the ski, actually, the thing is we do a big slide towards the end instead of walking for 1.5 minutes. And this is done with enough speed. You gotta keep a constant pressure on the camera stick while you are in the air, or you will get slowed down. There are many things that can make a ski work or not. It's pretty complex actually, but with a bit of practice it can work pretty reliably, and it's a lot of fun to do, to finish your speedruns at full speed like this. Anyway, I really hope you liked it as much as I did. I actually have an idea for an incentive, which is to run the game online, because this way I would be able to connect to any player. People in chat could even attempt to snipe me, which we do, and when we watch streamers on Twitch we usually snipe them often in game by just trying to join them in game, going in the same places they do, hitting the same main level triggers, and it could be a bit of fun, you know, because they can like sometimes they will trigger some things that are not in my favor, but I could still make up for it. Or they could, you know, mess up around. Like, I think it could be funny. to have a random companion along the journey. Most likely I would just pass them without them being even able to reach me. But yeah, I think that's a great idea. So I have not submitted a run yet on the leaderboard for any percent red, but I will very soon. I have been practicing this for a little while, and it's just I want to get a really great run, a sub 21 preferably, before submitting. And when I do, maybe by the time you watch this video, I will already have.